Yo, what's good people, it's J Cactus, and in today's video, I'm going to be showing you some ways to improve your melodies. So whether you're a beginner producer or you're more advanced, these are going to be techniques for everyone. The good news is that you don't need to understand any music theory, but if it is something that you want to learn, then this is going to help you with that too. And as a bonus, I'm going to be showing you some new ways to create 808 patterns and how to make sure that they're all in key. The products that I'm going to be using today are the Captain plugins range by Mixed in Key. If you like the look of them, I've left a link to them in the description, and you can get 10% off by using the code Cactus. So yeah, I think you're all gonna love this one, so let's get straight into it. So the first thing I'm gonna do is select a scale. You don't have to do this and you can always change it further down the line, but let's just start with, we could go D sharp or E flat minor. Alright, so this is how it works. So we've set the scale, and then at the top here, these are all the different chords within the scale and the numbered. So we've got the first, which will just be a D sharp minor chord or E flat minor, same thing, and then they're just numbered. So this will be the first, this is the fifth, sixth, and so on. But then at the bottom here, these are different variations of the same chord. So for example, we have a sustained one. So rather than keying in everything yourself, you can play around with some of the chords until you find one that you like and then build on that. So let's just give it a go. So we could just start off with this chord, add another one. So we might like that, we might like the fifth. I'm just gonna keep the fifth and then maybe repeat the fifth. And then let's find one more. Maybe we could go to the 6 here. Let's just see how this sounds. So instantly I've just got a sick progression, and I want to change this last one. But the sick thing about Captain chords is whatever notes you change, it's always going to make sense. It's always going to make it work. So that's why I said you don't need to understand any music theory. You don't need to play any instruments. So for example, if I just moved one of these notes, if it needs to change anything else, it will. If it needs to adjust any other chord to make it sound right, then it will. And then let's say for example, we like the sound of one, but we want to change the inversion. I could go up here and click on minimize leap. This is just going to bring the notes kind of closer together. Usually that sounds better when you're building chords. So still, I want to change something in this last one. And look, if I move them around, it's going to tell me the name of the new chord that we've made. So that's why I'm saying this is sick for improving your music theory, because usually in the piano roll, you might click notes on top of each other, but you've got no idea what it means or what it's called. Some people like to understand it a bit more and know what they're doing when they're doing it. So let's see if this sounds right. So I quite like that, and if you wanted to, you could change the octave here, but I think it's alright where it is. But what I could do is add some bass notes. So I'm just going to change the complexity. I'm just moving that up to 5, and let's just do that for each one. And I know I've just left it on the default sound here. I'm just trying to build the progression first until I find something that I like the sound of, and then I'm going to change the instrument. And they've got tons of presets to choose from, but what's sick is you can actually link it to your plugins. So when you open it for the first time, you can scan the plugins, and like here, I can link it to Keyzone, I can link it to Arturia, anything that you need. But let's carry on working on this first. So I definitely want to strum these chords. Strumming is just going to make it a little bit more realistic, so they're not played all at the same time. And if I add some swing, again, that's going to make it even more realistic. That's going to make it so all the notes are perfectly on grid. And this is where I think a lot of us fall short when it comes to creativity with building chord progressions. So what most people do is they'll put 4 chords in and they'll have each one the same length, and then that's just it throughout the whole track. But one way you can make it a bit more interesting is just by playing with the timing and the rhythm. So when I say timing, if you look here, the chords are each playing for the same amount of time. But let's just move this along. Now we should have a completely different vibe. So let's find one of these. So I like that. And then lastly, if you wanted to change the rhythm, you could go through some of the presets. So for example, you could have the chords play every half note. Again, it's just going to come up with patterns that you might not have thought about yourself. I was kind of happy with that being on every chord change, and I'm feeling this progression so far. So what I'm going to do now is take the MIDI. So I'm just going to click this and then drag it onto here. All right, let's work on a counter melody. And you know what? Whilst we're using mixed and key plugins, I'm going to pull up Captain Melody. And it already knows the key we're working in. So I'm going to connect that to Captain Chords. So then it's going to know my progression and it's just going to make it a bit easier. Now this, what I'm going to show you is a game changer. So if I click idea, this is going to create a melody for me, which is just crazy. And I want it for the full phrase. And I'm just going to randomize the idea box. So this is bringing me a melody based on the chord progression that we made in Captain Chords. That's just mad. Bro, this is a game changer. Like, that's insane. And some people might say, yeah, but you're not doing anything. You're not really producing. It's just thinking of stuff for you. But yo, if stuff like this is the future of music and this is the tools that are out there, then why not use them? If not, you're just going to get left behind. And it doesn't mean that you have to stick with that melody. It might just give you a little bit of inspiration to create your own. So in fact, yeah, let's just do that. Let's create our own. So I'm going to get rid of this and go to MIDI in. And I think people will like this because this is going to make sure that you're staying within the key. So look, if I go on play mode, whatever note I press, it's going to work. So like, that's the same note, but I'm pressing different keys. So yeah, let's see what we can find. So I like the sound of that. I've just cloned the piano that I'm using and I'm just going to drag this MIDI in. I was just playing around with ideas there. I like this bit here. So I'm going to get rid of the whole beginning bit, and I kind of like some parts in this section. So let's get rid of them and bring this back down. Maybe we could bring that up an octave. And you know what, let's find something other than a piano. I feel like I use the same instruments all the time, so let's just switch up. This one sounds sick actually. Ooh, this one sounds sick as well. See what I'm saying? So even just changing instruments, that's a better way to improve your melodies. Seems simple, but you just gotta experiment. And what I could do now is layer those main chords. So I'm just gonna copy them. I quite like the sound of this pad, just sitting underneath it. Let's hear it with the counter melody. And I'm gonna try and take these chords and copy them up an octave, but maybe on a different instrument. I think it's just missing a bit of high energy. Yeah, maybe something like this. Maybe that could be for a hook. And I think it needs just a little bit of low end. So I'm gonna copy these chords again and just find another stringed instrument, but further down. Yeah, maybe something like this. So this could be the bottom layer just to thicken it up. Alright, so I think the melody sounds sick now, so I could start laying in some drums. And there's a few different ways I could take this one. I'm hearing trap drums more than anything, but I could flip it into drill. It's just going to be a different vibe. So I'm just going to use a clap. And I think a shaker would sound good instead of a hi-hat. So yeah, something like this. And let's use an old hi-hat MIDI. I haven't used these ones in a while. So that could work. Yeah, maybe this one. And actually, let's change that shaker. That sounds sick. Alright, and let's go for this 808. And this is the trick I wanted to show you for 808s. So I'm going to open the plugin called Captain Deep. And again, this is going to link to everything else that we've got. So let's just connect it to Captain Chords. And look, so what this is going to do, if you have this set to follow the chords, it's going to follow the bass notes of the chord progressions or the root notes. So that way you're going to make sure that your 808s are in key. And let's just play around with the rhythm. So what this is doing is it's following the root notes and it's giving you some ideas for bass notes. And obviously we can switch this to the 808 after. So I quite like the rhythm of this one. So let's just take that MIDI and drag it on top of the 808. Obviously I can get rid of them, I don't need them. But now you can see that the 808s are in key. So literally there's no excuse to get your 808s out of key if you use this. And I could just stretch them out. What I could maybe do is slide this up. And with these other notes, I could just play around with these and maybe use some notes within the chord. See what I'm saying? Right, so I'm hearing some more perks. Maybe just to land where the snares are landing. Or the clap, should I say. Alright, and one of the last things I want to add is just a rim. I think the main point of this tutorial was to show you how to make interesting melodies, so I didn't want to focus too much on the drums. So yeah, I'm just going to finish everything here and then I'll show you the final outcome. Alright, so I finished mixing the beat and yo, it's mad hot today. I don't know if it's just the beats that I'm cooking up, but something's making me sweat. But yeah, I'm just going to play it as usual and talk you through everything. So in the intro, I'm just starting off with the pluck strings. Just the counter melody down an octave.
J Cactus.
So let's do some kind of pause intro. Then the counter melody comes in. New 808 pattern. Then into the verse. So we just got the pluck strings, and then I bring the pad in this section. So you can see I keep it interesting by switching up the drums and adding little breaks. And the pad wasn't in the hook, so it adds a bit of variation. Counter melody comes back. I haven't really done a bridge for this one, but you can see it starts to like drop the energy a little bit. Then no drums. Back to the hook. So I think the melody sounds sick. It's real catchy. And I probably wouldn't have thought of that progression. And back to the verse. So yeah, even though I started with a tool that could have just done the whole thing for me, I think it just ignited some ideas. I might not have thought of that chord progression, I might not have thought of that bass pattern if it wasn't for those plugins. So yeah, just experiment with it. These tools are there to help you. Music production just keeps advancing, so definitely take advantage of it. So I hope you liked the video and I hope you're feeling the beat. And if you like the look of Captain Chords or any of the other products from Mixed In Key, then I'll leave a link to them in the description. And if you use the code CACTUS, you'll get 10% off. So yeah, hopefully this helped everyone. I get a lot of messages from people saying that they struggle with making melodies and building chord progressions, so I thought this would be a good video to make for everyone. But yeah, thank you all for watching once again, and I'll see you next time.